This is Miami All Access.
Will, I've heard of letting the game come to you, but all 13 of your points in the last 8:38 takes that to a new level, I think. What was going on there? Was just being patient, or?
Yeah, just being patient. Coach Cooper always talks to me about, there's going to come a time in the game where I might have a run of shots or a run of offense, and just kind of wait for that time to come. So I was just, being patient. Throughout the game, I was thinking to myself, man, I don't think I've scored yet, but we're in the game, so it didn't really matter. I knew there was going to come a time when I needed to step up, and luckily it was late in the game and made a couple big shots.
And that last big three from over in the corner over there, no hesitation with the game on the line?
No hesitation at all. Eric and I kind of made eye contact early on in the possession, and the way they were guarding, it was a play designed to have Eric penetrate to the basket, but the way they were guarding, they were kind of sitting in the gaps to stop him. So we kind of had a little connection. We practiced that shot 1,000 times, and luckily it was one of the ones that went in today.
Eric, you had a game similar to Will's. Scored 10 of your 15 in the second half. What happens to you between that's been kind of a trend, it seems like, for you this year. What goes on there?
I think it's just, I don't really know what the teams, are coming, like, what their strategy is on defense for them. And I think, I have to get better at that because I think that's part of our slow starts in the first half. But I think it's just all a part of the defensive strategy. And when it's in the second half, I have time to think about what's going on. Like in the halftime, I have time to think about what's been going on, how the game's being played, and then in the second half, I'm usually able to just see how they're guarding me still and capitalize on what they've been keep doing.
Either one of you guys, when you're down 13, I think, or something like that, there's no sense of panic that the game's starting to slide away from us, or?
I mean, we've had a handful of games where we're down big late. In the second half, and we fully know that we're capable of making a big run. So, like the 13-point lead, that didn't really faze us. We knew that we needed to buckle down and get stops. But, 13 points, we made that up in, it felt like 3 minutes. And, before you knew it, we're back in the game, and it was a dogfight.
Either one of you, did you ever think they were going to stop hitting threes, especially in the first half?
Yeah, eventually, we in the second half, we came up with a different strategy on how we was going to guard them. So we kind of knew that, we was going to the post were just going to have to buckle down on one-on-one defense so they couldn't make pitches out. So really it was just give the kudos to our bigs for making it tough for them in the post.
You see that last, 10 minutes of yours or whatever it is. This is a team that's better than whatever 8 and 13, or your team better than that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that we've got to try to keep the mentality that it's a process throughout the year. I'm sure you guys have heard Coach Cooper say that a lot. Eric says it all the time. So we've just kind of stayed with the process. We've let a lot of games get away from us, but when you get a lot of guys that are playing with each other for the first year that we've been together, you want to be able to say that you're clicking late, and I think that we're starting to get near turning the corner. We're not there yet. We're starting to get near turning the corner, and for a lot of young guys and guys who come from the JUCO level to pull out a game like this where it's close late and get a win, it's huge for confidence. So hopefully we can let this snowball into Wednesday.
One last, you guys have formed a chemistry between you, or you talked about like that one play where I don't know how long it takes to forge that into the season, or you've been there a while.
Eric and I, we're always in the gym together for a lot of the times since the end of last season, where we kind of stepped up and said this is going to be, he's the same age as me, so I think of him as a senior with me. So we like to step up as leaders, and we knew that we need to have that kind of chemistry if we want to be effective leaders, so everybody can look up to us.
First of all, wow, did they shoot the ball terrific in the first half. I had a flashback to Central Michigan because I think they made 10 threes, and they were just really, really in a groove. I thought our second unit really, really helped us in that game in the first half to come and to be able to close that gap in the first half and eventually tie the score. So that group came with terrific, terrific energy. I thought we were a little bit stagnant to start the game, but fortunately for us, we finally did get on a roll. But, they played well down the stretch in the first half, and they go up 8. second half, we wanted to come out. We wanted to be ready to go and maybe jump on them early, but, we just weren't there, and they were, and they stretched the lead to 13. And then, of course, finally we're able to make some buckets, and then we're able to get to the press. And I thought our crowd did a terrific job of giving us some energy, and we got going, and we're able to turn them over a few times, able to knock in some buckets, and just really everyone was involved in it. I thought we had a number of guys that stepped up big. I mean, Sully hit big shot. Zach McCormick had a big five-point stretch there, a big three. Eric made terrific plays. I could go on and on. I thought Willie played well. I thought Chris Bryant really played well and brought his energy. And, of course, happy to see that Logan played well again, for the third game in a row. But we had multiple guys that stepped up and certainly had a print on the game. And fortunately for us, we're able to close it out and we're able to make free throws down the stretch. And at the end of the day, we get to the free throw line 26 times and make 21. So that certainly helped. And we limited our turnovers, 8 turnovers. I wish it would have been about 5, but now I'm getting greedy. We've had 2 back-to-back games to where we've limited turnovers, so I want more, even less now. So, questions?
Will's patience, I mean, he said he remembers thinking during the games, wow, I don't think I've scored yet, but we're still in the game, so it doesn't matter. He scores all 13 in the last 8.5. Is that like the patience of a senior?
Yes, no question. That's the patience of a veteran player, understanding that you can have an imprint on the game in more ways than one. I think the defensive board, fall hard to the ground, get up and come down, make your free throws, epitomizes Will Sullivan. He's a damn good kid. And I'm not talking basketball, but it's just, the things that he brings and just hanging in there. And he certainly makes mistakes like everyone else, but, you certainly have a sense of comfort that he's going to do something to help you win, of course. And he knocks in a big 3 and then makes his free throws. Gets a big drive there out of a time up and gets the layup. And so those are big buckets.
Washington said that Will was talking first on that big 3 he hit at the end. He and Washington made eye contact. Washington drove a little bit. They've got a little chemistry between them.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see that. And I think, for Eric and understanding where his growth is and where it needs to be, Eric understands that, he has his eyes and he's looking for Sully because Sully's been able to knock down threes and he's been very consistent this year. I mean, he's shooting, I think, close to 48% or something like that from 3. He's 1 of 3, so his percentage went down today. He shot 33%. But, and that's good heads up by Eric. And that's part of, growing as a basketball player and understanding who you're surrounded by and understanding where to get guys' balls.
What did you do anything specific at halftime to cut down on their 3-pointers? They shot 17 in the first half and only 7 in the second. Did you adjust the defense? Or?
Well, we definitely made a slight adjustment. Early in the game, they were going in and we were digging out, and their post player. House is one hell of a passer. And he was just picking it apart and throwing. And so we told our guys in many instances that they were going to have to be one-on-one, and they were going to have to guard, and because we couldn't help off as much. And then also, we started trying to front the post more and get around. And you're always concerned when we went to the small lineup, but those guys just sort of find a way to compete and fight. And there are times when we don't get rebounds that we should, but we're 6'3", 6'2", 6'2", 5'10", and then maybe someone 6'8" or something like that. And so it's certainly a battle. But, you look at the percentages that were shot in this game, doesn't look like anyone was playing too much defense. They're 58 and 58 from 2 and 3, and we're 56 and 54, and we end up shooting 80% from the free throw line. The free throw line is the place where we were able to take advantage and stretch it and overcome their 42 points from the 3-point line.
John, you said something to him. Anything when you're down 13, or was there a?
Well, you come out and you want to have great energy. to start the second half, and we just didn't have it. And so, just trying to get the group, back together and just settle down. I mean, we're fine. There's so much time, and I know the natural tendency is team comes out and they stretch it 14-15 is to panic. But, I guess you do it long enough, you've been around it long enough, you understand that it is a game of runs, but we've got to be able to get stops. I mean, early in the game, when they start second half, they're throwing it in to House or Kamenecki. They're banging our guys in, and they're able to get layups. And so we had to get that taken care of first. And then what you hope is that, that they don't shoot that well also in the second half. And, they didn't shoot it as well, but I didn't feel comfortable. I know when Sellers lets it go, I'm thinking it's going in. Not only does he have great size when he shoots it, but he's got a natural lean back. And that young kid's going to be a good doggone basketball player. But, we were able to speed them up. We were able to turn them over. We were able to get them to take a few shots against the press that maybe they wanted to take but weren't able to make. And then, too, they're dealing, Witt's dealing with a short bench. And maybe it was a little bit of fatigue that went on. And hopefully the press in the second half was able to get to that.
Just ask you one thing. When you brought Washington in, did he understand his role right away, or did you have to kind of mold him how you wanted him? Or?
Well, you have to understand, one, before we got Eric, is we were familiar with Eric because we had actually looked at him when Eric was coming out of high school and we were at Tennessee State, but we didn't go in that direction and didn't pull the trigger. Eric goes to Presbyterian, and for those of you who aren't, it's a Division I school, but Eric was in a system there, and the guy does a great job to where it was more set play every time and more of a half-court game. And one of the things that Eric has is he's got terrific speed and quickness. And so one of the things I wanted to stress to him was, I feel like we may have a Maserati here. Let's not put it in the garage and showcase it. Let's see if that thing's got a little juice to it, and let's open it up a bit. And it was an adjustment for him. He'd come, he'd get going, and then he'd stop and pull it at half court when he had the numbers. Now, sometimes I got to go and take that Maserati and put it in the garage because he gets going and he's gone, and he may get out of control. But I think for him, last year he did a really good job in practice, and it was really good for him going against Q because Q is very good defensively, and I think that really helped Eric also and helped Eric get back into the groove. And quite frankly, we thought that we had a good point guard ready to come in once Q graduated because we saw him all year in practice, but you never know. But, he put up good numbers at Presbyterian. And now I think he's starting to get more and more comfortable. I think he understands more what I'm looking for. I don't know how many minutes he played, 30 tonight. There were some times I'm trying to help him out and cut back his minutes so there's not so many straight minutes. And so the 30 number is a good number, but, he's a guy that makes plays for us. He was 3-1 in his assist-turnover ratio tonight. I want to compliment that. So, he was almost there in the last game. I want to say he was 8-3 at Toledo. So, you look at it, he's got 11 assists and 4 turnovers in his last 2 games. And those are the things that you look for because now it makes him hard to guard, and, of course, he makes free throws. And for Eric Washington to miss 3 free throws, that is very unusual. He's typically 80% free throw shooter. But he's such a terrific kid because he's a gym rat, and he loves the game, and he does. And so you want him to have success. One of my concerns with him, and I've told him, is he's one of those kids, it can't mean so much to you, the game of basketball. And that's weird to say that, but you can't let it determine everything about your day. There are days you're going to have tough days on the court, but are you competing? Are you fighting? And he does those things. And Eric would tell you he still has some growth, but, I like him on our side. I'll say that.